just visualizing and talking about what you want to do is nice. It's important to understand where you're going, but what's going to get you there is taking massive action, as Tony Robbins says. Welcome to the Next Level Income Show, where it's our goal to take your income, your investments, and your life to the next level. I'm your host, Chris Larsen. If you haven't yet, get a copy of our book for free at our website, nextlevelincome.com. That's www.nextlevelincome.com. Just click on the book link, and I'll even send you a copy if you put your address in. All right, on today's podcast, it's going to be short but sweet. We're going to talk about how to achieve more in Q2 so you can build momentum into the summer. One of the things that we face a challenge as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as high performers that are out there in a sales role, an executive role, in any professional role really, is that we're constantly struggling to maintain that momentum and set new targets. In the corporate world, what we do is we set quarterly goals. So for those of you who are listening that are familiar with this, you're going to be nodding your heads up and down saying, oh yeah, and sometimes I dread it, Chris. So how do you set effective quarterly goals so that you can continue to make progress towards where you want to be in life? Well, the first thing you want to do is put together your 3-year vision. Now, for those of you that are our coaching clients, you know what this is. If you haven't done this yet, I encourage you to go back, look at the show notes here. We have a link on how to build your 3-year vision. Now, what is your 3-year vision? And by the way, if you are interested in working with us on the coaching side, send us an email, coaching@nextlevelincome.com, coaching@nextlevelincome.com, and just say, I'd like to learn more about your coaching program and how you can help me achieve my goals. So what is your 3-year vision? Your 3-year vision is your North Star. It's your filter. It's like your destination in Google Maps. If you know where you're going and you can put that into Google Maps, you're going to get there more effectively, more efficiently, more quickly. And this is the same thing with how your mind works. When you tell your mind what you want, you are going to have a more direct path to get there. You're going to be able to push your energy in that direction. But the other thing that you can use your 3-year vision as is your filter. So the challenge we have as we become more busy in life, as we add complexities like relationships, like families, like kids, we have to learn how to say no. And your 3-year vision can act as this filter for what to say no to. Just a quick recap, your 3-year vision, you want to paint in vivid detail what your health looks like, what your wealth looks like, what your social, your family life looks like, and also what your personal, your enrichment looks like. These can be things like what you're reading. It can be coaching that you're doing. Your wealth can be your active, your passive income, as well as your net worth. Your health, which I think is the most important category. You talk about not only what you want to look like, how your body composition is, but how much do you work out? What do you do? What type of events do you want to compete in? Once you have this 3-year vision laid out, and this shouldn't be something you just scribble down in 10 minutes. This should be a very introspective project that you do. But once you have this firm anchor of your 3-year vision, where you want to be in the future, then it's time that you move on to your annual, your quarterly planning. And I want to highlight that the quarterly plan is to determine what your action items are. And this is important because just visualizing and talking about what you want to do is nice. It's important to understand where you're going. But what's going to get you there is taking massive action, as Tony Robbins says. So when you outline those 4 categories, health, wealth, social self, and personal enrichment, what I want you to do next is to distill this down into one big goal for each of these categories for this quarter Q2. So for instance, and I've used this as an example a lot of times, my goal for my health is to weigh 175 pounds at 9% body fat. Now, we're all built differently. I've always been a thinner guy, raced bikes, and I had my body fat down in the 5% range for years when I was racing. So this isn't a huge stretch for me, but what does that look like? three strength workouts, two bike rides, getting up on time, getting to bed on time. These are very clear goals, very clear action items that I could actually hand to somebody else that they could repeat. And they should be easy to understand. And if you give them to somebody else that is a clone of you, they should achieve the same results. Now, obviously, that's never going to happen. We don't have a clone. We don't have the same specific circumstances in everybody's life. But I think it's really important to have these really clear goals that we have. Once you have these clear goals, what I then want you to do is write down 1 to 3 action items for each of these goals that is going to get you there. 1 to 3 action items that are going to get you there. Once you have those, the next step is to plan your week around these. And what I'm going to do is offer you a free gift, a free tool to help you do this. This is the perfect week formula. It's written by my coach, Craig Ballantyne. And if you email coaching@nextlevelincome.com with the title in the email, The Perfect Week Formula, the title of the book, and your address in the email, we will send you a copy of the Perfect Week Formula. If you want to learn how to implement this, please check into our coaching program. We'll have a link at the bottom of the email that you got on your Tuesday or Saturday email here from our group to learn how to do that. And what you're going to want to do is you're now going to want to plan out your week. Now, how do I plan my week out? The first thing I do is I read my 3-year vision. I look at my 3-year vision. I remind myself where I want to be over the next 3 years. The second thing I do is review my quarterly goals, where I want to take my health, my wealth, my business, my life with my family, any personal development that I'm doing. I look at those, and then I look at my week. And this actually is the easiest part because I have a system that I've built where I block off time in my calendar for those things that are important that are going to help me achieve my 3-year vision. And you might say, well, what are these things, Chris? First thing, really easy. I block off time that I'm going to be asleep. Like you can't book time on my calendar for when I'm sleeping. The second thing I block off are my workouts throughout the week. Now this shifts. Sometimes I'm traveling. Sometimes the weather's not great. So maybe I don't ride my bike. Maybe I go to the gym. I've been doing CrossFit for about 12 years now. It's very efficient. I can do it when I travel, so I can do that. I even have a gym that I put in my basement so I can get a quick 30-minute workout if I need it, but I block that time off. Now, this is the most important thing when it comes to achieving your goals. You block off the time for NUI or NUI work. This is non-urgent but important actions that you must take to achieve your goals. What's an example of this? This may be setting an appointment or reviewing time to talk to a tax strategist. We're coming up on April 15th. Have you done your taxes yet? Have you planned on how to optimize your tax bill? And this isn't talking about how to avoid or evade taxes. It's talking about how to strategically avoid any unnecessary taxes that you're paying. Now, nobody's going to come to you and say, hey, Chris, you need to do this. You have got to do it yourself. So that's an example of a non-urgent but very important action that someone may take to achieve their goals. Then you let everything else fill in around that. And what you'll find, it's amazing how efficient you can be when you're moving the big levers by blocking those off first. Now, if you say, Chris, this sounds great, it's easy for you, you run your own business, you set your own schedule, but that's not, I can't do it like that. I will help you save 20 to 40 hours a week. I have an article I wrote just on that. So take a look at that article as well. It's linked in the show notes. And what that's going to do, it's going to help you find another 5, 10, 20, 40 hours a week to help you achieve your goals. So just in conclusion here, number one, go back if you haven't yet, review, map out your 3-year vision. Number two, set your big goals for Q2. Develop some momentum as we go into the summer. Number three, set aside some time every week to plan out what your week's going to look like so you can achieve these goals. And finally, if you want help with this, check out our coaching. We're about to start our next coaching cohort here next month. And we'd love to help you achieve all of your goals in Q2 and help you map out what you want your life to look like over the next 3 years. Hey, Chris here again. I hope you found this episode valuable. Now, I have one more thing to gift you. We have a page for my coaching clients where you can get a free copy of my book, as well as much more from previous guests on the show. Just check out nextlevelincome.com/coaching to get a free copy of my book, audiobook, and much more. I'll send you a copy of my book and cover all the shipping costs as a thank you for listening to the podcast. Also, please like, share, and take just 90 seconds to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts.